going, everyone? It is Monday, I do believe, at least on this side of the world. And welcome to RHMax.tv. Put the URL, and that is a real URL. I think a lot of people look at it and they think, oh, that's just those are just some characters put together with a period that kind of look kind of cool, kind of edgy in a way. And that's actually a real URL. If you go there, it will ask you if you want to subscribe to the channel. I don't do a lot of I don't hear me during the stream asking, hey, please like. So I just don't do it. It's just not part of my thing. Anyone that does it, cool. But I think I was like, you know what? This is kind of cool technically to do this. I wrote a tweet about it, like how to actually do it or how I did it and stuff with a little bit of like internet magic. It's not as easy as it looks, actually. It's pretty interesting if you're a tech nerd. But anyways, that is a real URL. I feel like when I post it, sometimes nobody even thinks to click on it unless it's automatically clickable. But thankfully, Twitter makes it clickable. So maybe people are doing it. It's not like I've tripled followers since, so I'm not sure. I don't have the metrics on it. But anyways, welcome to the show. This community stream. This is where we ramble on about whatever's going on or otherwise in the community. And I got four new people, four not new people in the community, but four new people to the show that I haven't had on before. So that might be a first. I don't think I've ever introduced. This may get crazy. It may get wild in here. You never know. It could get spicy. It could get the opposite of spicy. It could, you never know. Yeah, it should be fun. Excited to bring these guys in. Chat, put your questions in there as you have them. We'll cover the unfollowing again, even though I did almost an hour stream on it yesterday. I'm sure you guys want to hear about that, people's opinions and stuff too. But I get to chat in just a minute. Without further ado, welcome to the show for the first time, Zenith, Czar, Coexistence, Steven, and Saint Wolf. How's it going, gents?
Going well. Thanks for having us. This should be fun.
Yeah, thanks.
Howdy-o.
Yeah, I was telling Saint Wolf he missed the game plan, and so basically we're just not much of a game plan, just like, hey, we got, we'll kind of go around current events, see what the chat has to say. I was telling everyone how I came across them too, and with Saint Wolf, I think I saw you on Coffee first, or maybe I watched one of your videos and then I saw on Coffee one of those, and then I was like, wow, this guy's creating some interesting content and stuff, and I didn't see you, hitting up all the streams all the time. Like, all right, next community stream, I'm gonna have some people on that I haven't had on before, and yeah, you're number 4, man. You filled out the new round of RHMax.tv guest today. Welcome.
Cool, man. It's a pleasure being here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. Well, let's start out with that. You also missed the how we're going to do brief introductions real quick. So there you go. Volunteer for that. Just a couple minutes. Like, how'd you come across PulseChain and how'd you get in this crazy place?
Well, I'm a hex staker. So I'm 5'5", 5'5", and sacked for PulseX, and yeah, I've been kind of in it ever since, really. I was kind of in Bitcoin originally, a lot of other stuff, and then how did I discover Richard Hart? I don't know. It was really gatekept, for a while, because people were really trash talking him for a long time, and but as I slowly started listening to the Hart man, I started understanding a lot of things he was talking about. And a lot of things he was talking about were playing out, when you started to see all the scams and all the BS in crypto, the fluff that was there, and how he's genuinely trying to build really cool stuff. So, yeah, I've been in it. And when PulseChain came out, I think what really drove it home is when I started discovering that it wasn't just a layer 1. And then I just got over my head about it. I was like, wow, there's something really, really special happening here.
Yeah, when did you start creating content?
I made a couple random videos about a year ago, and then I had to move. I had to leave the country I was in, and then I just got distracted, and then I started discovering Atropa. I discovered Coexistence Steven. I don't know how, or YouTube showed it to me. Maybe I was doing all kind of strange searches, and it's funny. At first, I thought, oh boy, this is just getting crazy now in the PulseChain, and I watched one of his videos, and then I was like, okay, this is nuts. I don't know what's up. And then like a week later, somehow I came across it again, and I listened closely, and then I started searching myself and going on chain. And you have to do that. I think it was like November 2023, and you start seeing all these connections, and there was something cooking. And I remember one of his early videos, he was talking about there's this, web and this city being built or something like that. And then I started realizing that, there really is something being built there. There really is. And he wasn't crazy at all. He was just, in touch with what was happening, because you have to really, because it's a paradigm change, it's hard to see it at first. So then when I realized this is a big shift, there's something huge coming, that's when I just got head over heels and I started making content pretty consistently about then. And it was mostly about like Atropa, 414, looking at what the developer was talking about and things like that. And then it just kept evolving from there. Yeah.
It is a special place. Yeah, for sure. It's always amazing to see people's stories. They come into it, they either see Richard, they discover Hex, or they come in, PulseChain time and all this stuff. And it's amazing to see like how different people get onboarded, or just the ideas they hear about, and they're just hooked. You heard about it, right? And you're just like, man, that to me, it was like, that sounds good. I like that. I've been following Richard before Hex, it's 2017 or so. I first introduction was just him doing all the self-development videos, and just how I first got into crypto, and he was a Bitcoin maxi at the time. Just his intellectual musings. That was like the best mentor I could possibly have at the time. And yes, it is a paradigm shift. It is totally different than any other place I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And you can you either like that or you don't, and that's what we see a lot these days.
Right on.
Anyway, let's start, since we started at the bottom left. Let's keep going around on the bottom. Coexistence and Steven, and we'll loop around the top. Let's do that.
Nice. Thank you. Yes. So good to be here, Max. I am very fond of your channel. I love your very agnostic perspective. Even though you are RHMax, you don't actually.
I've heard agnostic and I've heard neutral, and I appreciate that. Yeah. I try to. I like it. Keep going.
I think it's good to be. I think it's good to be of that perspective, be open-minded. And obviously you would have watched my Richard Hart Millionaire Mindset episode, and really going back to the core of what this is all about. I don't consider myself to be a maxi, but I'm heavily weighted in Richard Hart assets because of the feel that I get from him. If you go back, like you mentioned, all these self-help things way before his outrage marketing, that's the Richard that I know. The outrage marketing, like it was so good, it even triggered me at points. I'm like, what the hell is he doing, man? He's got to stop. But really just opened my mind up to what it actually means to market as well. Like he proved a point. He basically tripled his following on YouTube, and everything just blew up. And I also, at the start of PulseChain, was very only holding on to the core coins. That was my strategy at the start. But part of my plan is also to be adaptive and open-minded to the changing conditions. So I was seeing things, and like St. Wolf said, one of the things that I did see was the Atropa ecosystem. I had people telling me about it, and I was very switched off to it. But then I actually started looking at it, and it just blew my mind wide open. And when I have that feeling about something, I really investigate it. So I don't listen to what anyone else says. I really follow my own heart. So I was like, okay, this is something going on here. And the deeper I dove down that rabbit hole, the more amazed I was. And that's why for me, when I see the state of how people are feeling towards a chain, and it's like the negativity towards it, I'm like, man, do you guys actually know what's being built here? We're actually revolutionizing cryptocurrency with this movement that's happening, and nobody really understands it. I'm still only just barely touching the surface. I feel I'm going to get into a few different things with that ecosystem, and people really are not realizing the magic that we have on this channel. It's a system. That's what I love about it. It's not an individual thing. It's an actual system. So I just love everything about PulseChain, and I associate every little creation as part of it. So yeah, that's pretty much my story with how I got into PulseChain and Richard Hart.
Awesome, man. Yeah, like I said before, I'm going to try to get together a stream on mindfulness and meditation, all that too, because I see a lot on your channel. I watch quite a bit of your content as well. And I like a lot of the stuff you talk about with that stuff too. And always trying to get a group together to talk about that, because that's really, really good. And just there's a lot of, I don't know, I did meditation streams and stuff before. I've had plenty of people on, but that's one topic we don't have enough coverage of, I think, in PulseChain. So, Scivive, meditation, mindfulness, all that stuff. So yeah, hope to get you back on and talk about that too.
Definitely. And just very, very briefly on that, I think that's part of what my whole channel is about. The whole idea of you have to have the right mindset in order to succeed in anything that you put your mind to. And so PDI to 1,000. Yes, fast Abdul. I love hearing this.
I
You have
jokingly
to have
said,
the right mind.
FUD fast Abdul.
And you know, like even with Hex, I didn't have the right mindset. Got that 7-figure portfolio, but I didn't take anywhere near enough profits. Didn't have a strategy, didn't have a plan, didn't have the right emotional control, wasn't able to handle it. And I see the same pattern in everywhere in life. Like the reason why I did that millionaire mindset is Richard Hart is where he is because of his mind. It's not just blind luck. People get to where they are because they're a byproduct of their mind. So I'm really big on that.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Good to have you in the community. All right. We'll I guess go up. Or is this the symmetric move is to go? I'm not sure if it's to go up or to the left there, but let's just go crypto czar. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Again, thanks for having me, Max. Great content, great channel, great community. But yeah, just following off of everybody else in terms of getting into PulseChain and everything. I missed the big Hex thing, so I wish I could call myself Hex again, but I can't. That said, though, when I missed it, I was talking to an OG, and he was telling me about PulseChain, and then that's how I got into it, was during that sacrifice. And myself and family members, down to like my grandma, we all sacrificed. And so we come from like a great family of PulseChain sacrificers that I'm pretty proud of that, especially that grandma could get into. She got in on the hype, and I talk to her every now and then. She's like, "How's PulseChain doing?" And I don't have the heart to tell her right now.
Oh, grandma.
But I just keep telling her we're doing good. we're waiting for it. So yeah.
Imagine all the friends and neighbors and family, like they
2
ask
more
you about
years.
PulseChain. Yeah, and you're just like, let's talk about it another time. We gotta wait. We'll talk about it later, okay?
Yeah, it's so funny. But what the thing that I think I really love about PulseChain, and it comes from the Hex community, is that idea of community and everybody coming together for that common goal. That goal could be a little different depending upon who you're talking to, but that's one thing that I think really drew me to PulseChain. And one of the reasons why when I launched Icarus was to do it exclusively on PulseChain and help build the chain even bigger and trying to get it out of kind of the meme coin push and into more utility focused ways in which the PulseChain can continue to grow. And I think it's great that we've got Richard Hart as the head of that, because he's such a visionary on a lot of things. I think it's almost comical when you hear people talk about all that FUD with the PulseChain, because you're almost just like, if you could only look past the lenses you've got right now, like it's almost like what you're talking about, Steven, in terms of like that mindset. Like if you could understand a mindset that can see further than 5 minutes into the future, like I think humanity would be better, let alone crypto in general and the PulseChain. So I'm super excited, one, to be a PulseChain sacrificer, and then two, to be building a great community and a great coin and a great ecosystem that will have utility on the network itself. So that's some good future hopes I have for everything.
Awesome. Welcome, man. And last but not least, we're gonna skip Zenith. We ran out of time. Sorry, Zenith. We'll try. Just kidding. All you, man. How's it
Doing
going?
me dirty like that. Oh, geez. It must be because I'm not cool enough, because I didn't get in the Pulse or the PulseX sacrifice, but I did get onboarded by Hexocristo himself, aka Hex Jesus, aka Dollar Cost Crypto. Yeah, Miguel and Charlie were my onboard into crypto. I saw Hex, and then I was like, oh wow, this DeFi thing is pretty freaking neato. So I've been just trying to find more of that wherever I go. And then PulseChain has just been an absolute blast. I remember doing ratio trading during those like first 2 or 3 bridge days.
That was big.
I ended up trying to crunch the numbers myself afterwards. And I was like, wow, this whole ratio trading thing didn't work out at all because the size of bags you wanted to ratio trade just got eaten up by slippage. And then there was randomly like 3 hours in there where the gas fees just went like through the absolute roof. Yeah. But yeah, no, PulseChain has been an absolute wild ride. Tons of people building cool stuff like Fast Abdul up in here building the 2Fux protocol. And I guess for the folks that don't know me, hi, I'm Zenith DI on Twitter, but you probably know me from the DGen Roundtable where I stream with a fantastic team of folks. And that is where I come from. And then I'm just out here trying to dive into as much crypto stuff as I can. And then I've gotten my foot pretty deep in the Richard Hart pool, so to speak, over on book club that I run with my co-host, Will Stevenson. Every other week, we've been covering a chapter of Scivive. So we're getting to the last 2 episodes. We're covering, I think it's chapters 7 and 8 together, time and space. So yeah, we've been getting to know Richard Hart's inner workings and the machinations of his mind pretty well. I got to say, like, the man he's phenomenal at building crypto products. Is he the world's best author? I'm going to have to say no, but that's okay. There's still a lot of good stuff to digest.
Let me give you a detail to qualify. That may qualify that answer as well. I believe, and I think I have a clip of this too, him talking about the entire thing outside of being edited and stuff like that is a voice collection of voice notes put together. So if that helps, you're like, yeah, it wasn't really written as a book. It was just like voice notes transcribed and then edited to a certain extent. Then I'll be like, okay, I guess maybe if nothing else, everyone lower their expectations when they read Scivive. It's voice notes, but it's from a very smart voice notes. I guess I could say it like that too. But
that's true. That's
also good.
Now that you say that, it kind of makes perfect sense because it definitely feels just like one single train of thought that just keeps going and going and going and going. And it's kind of grouped into the chapters that makes sense for the most part, but there's some stuff that's a bit repetitive or kind of builds on stuff in the past. But yeah, I guess other than that, shout out to a Wild SJ. She's the one that did the audiobook, which is the version that I'm listening to. And I hear that she's even doing another one used for my show notes whenever we cover the chapters.
Dude, awesome. I'm glad you're like the second or third person to ever read these blogs. Appreciate that. Yeah.
What's your website, Max? What's your website?
RHMax.org.
RHMax.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the blog.
That's cool.
No worries. No, I mean, the only content I really have there is just where I do long form content. So if you just go rhmax.org/blog, that's where I do I posted Scivive summary, which some of it, a lot of it, some of it I've got, it's either, I'm trying to think, this one was, I think I actually got someone to do this one and then I edited it, or we did AI or something like that with the Scivive summary. But I wanted to put that out in case if anyone's interested and they don't want to read the whole thing right now. There is a summary available on my website, for example. And then before that, I went through, you said you were on Time Space. Is that the one?
Yes, Time and Space, chapter 7 and 8.
Yeah, and this is where I just took a bunch of the different quotes and also added them to goodreads.com and stuff too to get them better indexed. And then just kind of basically did commentary on a bunch of different quotes that I thought were powerful or otherwise relevant stuff too. So there's a lot of, if you don't want to read the whole thing, or you don't want to, or even read, you don't need to read. You just do tinyurl.com/go Scivive. That will take you to SJ's audio playlist. So you don't even have to read, you can listen to it as well. And a lot of people, I think they just listen to the first chapter or so. You can tell by all the views, right? Like this one, and then just kind of like, descending after that. Anyways, a lot of good stuff. If you want to learn more about Richard, his ideas, all that stuff, there's plenty of commentary. And yeah, it's awesome you guys are doing that. I think I saw y'all doing that the other day.
Yeah, we had SJ for chapter 1, I think, and I definitely want to try to get her back on the stream for the final wrap up, or at least like the last chapters. But unbeknownst to me, Max, you've actually kind of been this like anonymous shadowy figure that's been a silent benefactor for my entire crypto journey, because I keep stumbling on to everything that you make, and I think to myself, wow, this website's fantastic. Wow, this is awesome. It's super helpful. Whether it's like gorealdefi.com or the RHMax.org for all the Scivive notes. I'm like, man, this guy's really making my life a lot easier.
Thank you. That is like really the compliment I look for. That's awesome. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't know if anyone ever looks at the content. I don't have like counters and stuff on the website. I'm always like, man, I hope this helps somebody out there. So awesome. Appreciate that.
Amazing website, gorealdefi.com. Just very quickly, just to go into your rhmax.org as well. Richard put out a tweet yesterday about SEO. And so really happy to see that you've got a website, because I think as a community, especially for content creators, people that have blogs, I've got a blog. I started a blog before I started a YouTube, to really start to connect our different blogs together and get the positive information out there. Because if you just Google Richard Hart, it's all the fun, and that's what everybody's going to see. So anyone that gets introduced to PulseChain, they're going to look up, okay, who's the founder, Richard Hart, and then you just see a page of negativity. Even his website's down at the moment. I don't know if I'm sure that's a deliberate move on his behalf, but yeah, he was talking about backlinking everything and really spreading the positivity. So that's something that I want to try. So I'll definitely do some blogs and backlink to your website, Max. And I think as a community, it'll be really good to keep talking about it, so everyone who is a content creator can also have that in their mind, so they can start to link to each other.
Yes. Yeah. I think too, richardhart.com is down. I think he said that he mentioned a tweet the other day that it was down at 4 intentionally, I guess. But then it's still in his bio. So I'm like, you want to put pulsechain.com here or something else? I might click on the bio. It doesn't work, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
But it's not like he needs to make a lot more bio changes or anything, but he does from time to time. Anyways, we'll get to the unfollowing in a minute. Just want to answer a couple questions in the chat. Is RHMax a Marine? As a negative, but I will take that as a compliment. I appreciate that. And there's also some talk about Denzel. I'm not sure the connection there, but he is a great actor. I do appreciate him, and his son as well, John David Washington. Yeah, also famous for Tenet. People may not know that is actually his son. They are father and son there. So, guy from Tenet. There you go. People feel like, what the hell is Tenet? Well, it's a movie. Okay, it's a movie. All the other comments about wishing grandma well and otherwise have been cracking me up the last 10 or 15 minutes. But please keep them respectful. They're pretty funny though, I'll say that. But hopefully Cryptoczar takes it in good humor as well. It's pretty funny. Anyways, what do you guys think? Yeah, I guess we'll cover the elephant in the room real quick here. I know I did a whole stream on it, but maybe just get a reaction to this zero following. What is the unfollowing, the event that happened yesterday? Does anyone care about that? I'm great at framing, right?
I'll put it this way. Me not knowing how to operate Twitter is a feature, not a bug. So it depends on how terminally online you are, in my personal opinion. I've seen a lot of reactions ranging all the way from this matters not to, oh my gosh, what happened? Did I personally make Richard mad? Am I the cause of this? And it's like, no.
What did we all do?
Exactly. Just go find the tweet where Richard says, look, Satoshi Nakamoto doesn't follow anybody, and his product turned out to be pretty successful, so might as well do the same, right?
Yeah, I mean, to that point, like I kind of feel like it cuts down on
there, Max.
It cuts down a lot of the noise around you. So I feel like it's just a solid move all around. Not to say you couldn't shift later and start following people, but yeah, I'm all for it.
I think it's fantastic. I think all of his words get skewed just like the Bible. Everyone just kind of skews sayings and passages for their own sort of selfish needs. And I even saw, like, straight up all the maximalists were like, he's unfollowed everyone because everyone's like buying all these shit coins. And then he also put out a tweet that thanked all the builders. It's like everyone just skews and sees things how they want to see it. So I think it's probably like a very wise move, so people can't abuse his words, because I mean that was part of the whole objective, right? Where people that were following him kind of maybe used that connection to shill their own things, and I think it's a good thing. I don't know why everyone's kicked up such a fuss about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's funny how no matter what, like if he didn't unfollow everyone, or if he did, like even if he didn't, the idea is like people could still use that to say that, oh, he unfollowed everyone because the community is shilling too much stuff or not doing what he wants to do. Or it's like there's no move he can make where there isn't some kind of like can't be used as leverage to tell another narrative otherwise, which is kind of funny too. But yeah, I mean, who knows why it happened? Maybe it just got tired of seeing stuff. Maybe, I went through a bunch of stuff yesterday of like, maybe he just looks at the numbers. He's a numbers guy, and he's like, you know what? The ratio of followers to following you can help me pump the algos if it's like 0. So maybe I'm going to move up in the stats. Like there's all these, like, you can come up with theories all day, but
that was exactly my thought. Like I years ago started an Instagram page. Like I work in kind of marketing and TV and film and like all kinds of stuff. And we would have meetings with clients, and I would sit there and be like, what you guys need to do is X, Y, and Z, and like all this type of stuff. And then there was one day I was just like, man, like I gotta put this to the test, you know, like, so I started this Instagram page, and it was exactly that thing where I was like, I'm going to build this following. And in 7 weeks, organically, without paid anything, I had like 12,000 followers on this Instagram page. But part of that mentality was not following anything. And it really does boost. So that's where my mind went first when he did that, is I was just like, over 300,000 followers and then 0 following. Like, all right, it could just be a algorithm ploy on top of a whole bunch of other aspects. But I think it's, to your point, it's like any politician. It doesn't matter if you go right or if you go left or if you go down or you go up. Like, you should have done the other thing. And I can talk about 1,000 reasons why it's wrong that you went up when you should have went down or whatever. So I say the more we're talking about him, and the more we're talking about PulseChain, and the more we're talking about everything, it's a win. Like, so whether he reinstates all his followings or not in the next day, like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're talking about PulseChain, we're talking about the community. Eyeballs are on us, eyeballs are on him. I say bring the next thing. Like, what are you going to do next, Richard? Like, let's do it.
It could be any news is good news. That's interesting one too. Could be trying to ratio the algorithm. Somebody also mentioned you can say in court, "I don't follow anyone." People. I mean, he could just do that the day before, or he could have done that a year or so ago. I'm not sure how effective it is to do it now. I mean, maybe there's something to that, but I don't know. We could put it on the list. Maybe it's like something to do with that.
That's more of a tinfoil hat theory, which is that obviously PulseChain at large and everything Richard Hart related has been under the rain cloud that Gary Gensler descended on July 31st of last year. So ever since then, yeah, there's been a lot of the hubbub about like everything's being done for legal purposes. However, the timing on this one doesn't really make sense with that one, because we already saw the great decentralization previously when, was it like Hex, Pulse, and PulseX.com all went offline at the same time. That was like, I'm pretty sure that was 2023 when that happened. So to do this now, the timing when it comes to the legal stuff just doesn't quite make sense. Even when, from the legal standpoint, after everything his team has put out, like, they're on very solid footing right now. And I believe right now we're still just waiting for the SEC to do a response to the response that his team gave to the initial subpoena. So it's like he's kind of in a position of strength. So the unfollowing doesn't seem legal. If anything, it does kind of seem more of philosophical like this one. But the only counterpoint I would say is that, is it cool to kind of copy the successful people of the past? Yeah, sure. But at the same time, we did have a cool thing going on, which is that if you were a Hexkin or a Pulskin that did some cool thing or did something of merit, occasionally Richard Hart would kind of like dap you up and give you the follow and be like, oh, that's cool, bro. Like one of the guys on our team, Will Stevenson, when Richard Hart did a thing of like, who should I follow next? Tam in the chat, by the way, shout out to her. She's the best cheerleader around. But she was like, oh yeah, this guy has a Quattro Cinco tattoo. And he was like, cool, I'll go follow him.
Oh, wow. I did not know Will Stevens had a Quattro Cinco tattoo. Wow.
Sure does.
Wow. Yeah, I thought it'd be funny too. I was thinking today, like, what if he unfollowed everyone, but then just followed like one other person? And it's like, I don't know if I want to be that person, because then you have all the conspiracy theories of, why does he follow that person? Why does he follow why do you only follow
came back and
Czar?
followed,
that's weird.
If he followed one person, that would be just a pure mind game, just trying to mess with people. Because he knows he'd pick somebody just like at random and then just watch the community just lose their minds over what's the reasoning and starting to see through the matrix. It's like,
who would be okay
if for fun?
If there was one person he would follow that wouldn't raise any suspicion, who would that be?
My grandma.
Tam. Nana.
Yeah. I'll get her to get a Twitter account right now.
You got to get Nana followed.
My first thought was SJ, just because I would be like, it would just make sense. Like, oh, that's the biggest Scivive, for example, or like all that. Okay, that's not too suspicious. But if you followed, Coexistence Steven, it'd be like, whoa, what's that guy know? What's he? Let's go blow up his DMs.
He died to 1,000.
Oh, that's what it would confirm. There you go. That's what it would confirm. He'd be like, oh, it's on now. Another Richard confirmation. Like that would be like probably the narrative then. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Saint Wolf, did you tit for tat unfollow Richard after this happened?
Did I tit for tat? No, I did not. I did not. And look, in all fairness, he didn't do anything wrong, and he didn't disappear at all. He's still tweeting. He's just making sure, that he's not unfairly being used by people, because we saw a lot of that happening in the last few months. There was absolutely, no one can deny that. And people were using it as a weapon. They were, like I don't tweet a lot, but I definitely see what's going on. And there was a lot of that happening. And then too, I think it closes the door to any kind of like, I don't want to use the word betrayal. I think that's kind of a strong word, but for people to, I guess, betray loyalty, really, you know what I mean? By using it in the wrong way. And so they just close that door. He doesn't have to see it, and we don't have to see it, and no one else has to see that garbage either. But it's fair that he's tweeting. He's certainly not pulled a Satoshi and vanished at all. He's still there, and I think at some point he's going to ramp up when he's ready, probably after the case.
It's a very reasonable take. It is. I just brought this one up
Just
too.
the squad.
Yeah,
he's busy.
Well,
he's fighting. Yeah.
So this one, it reminded me of this comment that would be on you all. Don't you guys think he'll start following people who confirm his mission after clean slate? So like, what if he just started following like, 15 or 20 people afterwards, and then we're gonna have to make another meme that has only those 15 or 20 people in here and call it like the following? I don't know. What would we caption that if we just had like the 10 people that he followed after wiping a clean slate? The following. I'm going with that. Fighting for less noise. The following, maybe. There you go. Just want to caption.
You could see that, or maybe like the disciples. I don't know.
The disciples.
Go for 12.
Well, then
Make
it would be
nice
like
number.
it would be like that. Yeah. The knighting of the. I don't know what it means when you make someone a disciple. Is that like you're knighting them? I'm not sure what the word is, but that kind of thing. But it wouldn't even be on their behalf.
Ordaining him.
Ordained, but it wouldn't even be them though. It would be him, right? Like that would be. The whole process is out of your control. He could literally be anyone. Obviously, it'd probably be people close, that he likes or whatever too. But anyways, that came to mind. I thought it'd be funny. Yeah, so that happened yesterday, and that was a thing. And I'm sure next week we're all gonna forget about it. There's gonna be 2 or 3 weeks from now. Hopefully there'll be another thing that's positive, but maybe not. Who cares? One of those things kind of leads us into. Just the what's the pulse of the ecosystem, gents? What's the most interesting thing going on that you guys think of right now?
Well, if I'm being selfish, it's Icarus and wings.
Go for it. Tell us the story.
Attaboy. Preach the book. Got to sell it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I mean, the thing is like I look at there's so many good projects out there. Period. Like that's the other thing that I like about the PulseChain community is there's lots of good projects out there by great people, great developers, great everything. And I want everybody to succeed, period. Because if we're all succeeding, then it's that the tide lifts all boats mentality, and I look at what Icarus is doing and trying to build that utility around the PulseChain, like again, like looking at our roadmap, we've got some big plans for like on ramps and off ramps and everything, but then also a marketplace where you can utilize your Pulse, utilize your Icarus, utilize other coins, and exchange goods and services with people. So it's something that I don't think's out there currently, let alone on the PulseChain. So we're excited to be a part of that, and it's just one of those things that we're just beyond pumped with. We released staking the other week, and we've got some diamond wing holders of Icarus. So like, and that's the other thing that I don't think people realize is Icarus, when we're talking PulseChain, is a coin that has 1 million coins. So the supply is very finite compared to a lot of these meme coins with millions of coins. So we've got a lot that we can utilize in terms of community growth within that, and helping everybody with their bags at the end of the day, you know. So it's exciting. Like I'm pumped on it, and like I said, the wings is tied to the Icarus, using it as a multiplier for the staking, and so there's just so many good things that I'm super pumped on, as a founder, and working with my community and talking to them. Like it's just a solid group of people, and we want more people to be in there on our Telegram, more people to kind of help us out. We just kicked off a contest. Well, actually, not just. We kind of talked to them about it in Telegram, but we're getting ready to launch it where we're going to be rewarding people creating great content and sharing and everything. So again, it's we're just trying to build that community, build that awareness that there's more on the Pulse chain than just meme coins that are pump and dumps or rug jobs or whatever. So
that's what I was going to ask. What's the next for Icarus? Is there anything else coming out soon, or are you just community building?
Right now, it's we're just working on the marketplace. Like staking was our number one focus, and that's out there. You can go to stake.icaruscoin.io and start staking your Icarus. So once that was released, it's really just working on that marketplace and making sure we're building it in a way in which the community can join us and create their own marketplaces and to start selling the world via the Pulse chain. I'm shocked that a lot of the places that we've seen where like gift cards, for example, as an off ramp, I'm shocked that nobody's really utilizing Pulse for that. Like, so we're trying to kind of get those aspects of on ramp and off ramps lined up so we can be ready for whatever Richard has in store. And when that Pulse hits a good number, then we can all kind of off ramp it as needed. So that's what we're working on, is that marketplace. But then in conjunction, it's that community building, the awareness, all that type of stuff. So
when you said what Richard has in store, I thought of that one time on stream. I'm sure he said it more than once, but he was like, you know, what are you talking about? I don't do anything. I just sit here. And now I'm like, man, we can't even see you sit there anymore. No.
Yeah. And man, I am super excited about the future. That's the other thing that I think is needed within the Pulse chain, is other people that are pumped on it and not continually being down on it. It's like, yeah, it's a bummer. It's down right now, but was it down a handful of months ago? Like, no, everybody was super stoked on it. So like, let's kind of keep that positivity rolling and let's kind of hit it and see where we're at the end of the year. Like I'm so optimistic about the Pulse chain and our project on it.
Yeah, I think we all certainly are. It's one of those things too. I mean, it's like when, you know, Richard made it so much about price for such a long time, and then price went down for such a long time. It's like, you know, a lot of people who are here, they're like, well, the price, that's one thing that attracted me here. How long am I supposed to do this type of thing? And it sucks, but that's how it is. I don't think there's no perfect strategy. Like trade-offs were made with outrage marketing to the EHEX, PX stuff, to the silence, no streaming, limited founder communications to tweets. Like everything is just trade-offs. But yeah, the guy's it's pretty smart.
Yeah, it does seem like a time for building, you know. A lot of people did think we were just going to get a quick, 10x, and a lot of people just wanted to take off, and that was a vibe. And I think the washout was important. You know, this period's really important, actually. And with what's being built, I think the catalyst may not fully have lined up yet for people to understand quite exactly what has been and what is being built right now. And it's like that thing, you know, like time, like people are just going to wash themselves out by waiting. You know, they're going to be jumping into meme coin and this chain and that chain. And patience is definitely part of this game right now.
Yeah. Glory, if you believe that's his mission, it's if you think about it for a moment, that isn't inherently incredibly hard to do. And if there's anybody that can bring life to this time is different type of thing, it's Richard. Like that's the guy. That's the chosen one in my mind for that.
Yeah, I mean, to be totally honest, we don't know what's in his heart. What's in the heart man's heart, we don't know. Is it glory, or does he just say that? We don't know. But we can 100% look on chain and understand that what is being done in the background requires a tremendous amount of effort. He could just print green candles for sure, and he'd have his glory. And crypto, really, I mean, right now, it's if you just give everybody 100x or 50x, you have glory, right? So we don't know. We don't know what's in his heart.
I think there's short-term versus long-term stuff. I imagine this guy seems to think long-term, so I would
long-term.
I would say if it was, I would say glory would come. There's a bunch of different ways to describe it. If I were to imagine the ideal situation based on, all we can do is just listen to him and watch his stuff, and he changes his mind from time to time. But I would think it'd be some kind of sustainable ecosystem of, of making these ideas come to life that he likes and the community appreciates, and of course the green candles that kind of tie all that together over a long period of time. Hopefully, I don't know. If you ask me to press a button, do I want 100x and exit ecosystem? And am I going to call that glory? Like, would that be fun? Yeah, of course, that would be extreme, crazy time. But
who wouldn't take that, right?
Do not test my delayed gratification, sir. Do not test it. But I hear it. Definitely, it would be fun. But I would hope we'd be able to go more than that. We'll say that.
Yeah, there's more. There's more.
Well, if you hit on something very important earlier, which is that it kind of seems like it's a bit of boredom and meme coin season right now. And while that is exciting for a lot of other chains, we're starting to get some of that excitement here on PulseChain. It's also a bit of a dangerous time. And honestly, the unfollowing is kind of coming at another time. And it's 2 points together that Richard's talked about for a while. One is that he wants us to survive without him around. And even without Sack Daddy or whatever wallet pumping and doing the 100x just because they feel like printing the green candles, you don't need it at the end of the day. The fundamentals are there, and PulseChain is primed to pump when it's ready and when it's time. We're already getting good signals that good stuff is coming in the future. I think there was the MEXC listing. We have the RH case in October that's probably going to get cleared up. And then also after that, Ethereum's probably going to start running a little bit harder than Bitcoin soon, which means that because PulseChain is a fork of Ethereum, there's a good chance that we can see a little bit of a liquidity bonding pulling PulseChain up over there. But then the other half of the second of the 2 points I talked about is that Richard constantly talks about trying to FUD out the weak hands. So if you did not get FUDed out by the SEC and you did not get FUDed out by a secondary dip, if you are now getting FUDed out by him unfollowing people on Twitter, I would almost argue that Richard might be of the mind that this is kind of like good riddance. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Because he has talked a lot about really trying to get rid of weak hands all the time. Like, I know he personally hates all the JPEG NFT guys, but at the same time, it's like when it comes to his baby, he's in it for the glory. He's made that part very, very clear at this point. So I think it's going to be a little more organic than just the sack wallet just pumping money into PulseChain. But at the same time, doesn't. Do you mean? Sorry, can you reiterate that? Like, it has to be something outside of that.
Yeah, I think so. Like, if well, I mean, I guess it's only just my perspective, but glory is more than just a 10,000x for PulseChain. And how does PulseChain even get a 10,000x? It's not going to do it just by the individual coin just pumping on its own. The glory is the blockchain actually being utilized and taking over Ethereum. That for me is the glory. And how do you do that? You build. And so that's the most exciting thing that I see is the building that's going on. People are so focused on the price and the expectation. And it's like everyone just expects Richard to do everything and pump their bags. And it's like, we don't even deserve that, to be honest.
Steven, I completely agree. No. Just pumping money from a sack wallet into this thing is not going to be the end result. And I think you also hit it square in the head there, which is the builders. It's the communities and the builders. There's so many projects that are coming out all the time, and it's not just meme coins. It is legitimate projects with product market fit and also community support and interest. Like, shoot, we even have Fast Abdul in the chat right now. I know he's on the grand world tour of trying to get his protocol launched. And at the same time, even outside of him, there's tons of stuff going on all the time. I mean, just to name a few, we got Giver Tech Team, who's killing it right now. They have a bunch of different projects in the barrel lined up, ready to be fired. On top of that, it's a bit of a personal flavor here, but Pulse Wars, the first GameFi game on PulseChain, is set to go live. It's kind of like a fantasy football of market trading, so to speak, with NFTs as your entry tickets. On top of that, we have a bunch of other stuff going on when it comes to everything from the past. Like we have Fame, Fiat, Power City, Liquid Loans, the actual Flux protocol, PHUX, not the actual curse word. I swear I'm trying not to get you demonetized.
I don't monetize.
Oh,
Fuck,
perfect.
two
All
fucks.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to use big boy words then.
With a P, with
But
a P. Yeah.
Exactly,
All
with
start
the P.
cursing.
The point is that there's a lot of projects going on here, and it's the builders in the community. I don't know about you guys, but at least on the team over on our YouTube channel, we've been trying to reach out and find guests to come on streams and stuff, and we want to start building bridges to other communities and start getting some crossover going. However, we keep running into the issue, which is that PulseChain and Hexskins are the biggest and best grassroots community out there, and there's tons of people willing to hop on any stream anytime, like the 5 of us are doing right now, and trying to find that elsewhere. It's just hard to do. So it's like everything is primed right here. We're ready to go. We kind of just need a little bit of the FUD from traditional finance to go away. Cough, cough, Gary Gensler, please. Like, enough. We got it. Get it out of here. Like, we're ready, man. We're all so ready.
Get it out of here. I like that.
Yeah. I think this downtime is absolutely the best thing that could have happened. And one of the ways that I thought of it was, if you were building something like this, and it was, and you had a vision of the future, and no doubt, someone like the Hart man or our developer Maria Rahel or other people on PulseChain, they're envisioning not what people want right now, but what the world might look like in 5 years or 10 years out. And you need time for people to see that vision and get on board the boat. You know, if PulseChain had just taken off and done just taken off right from the start, who would have gotten on board that? It would have been people just looking for a quick trade, and then people who already had a bag of crypto from the last cycle who had 5K or 10K to invest or something like that, right? Now, that's not really letting people on the ship. You know, if you have a year of this downtime, it allows people to accumulate a position, and also for people to hear about it, to see the vision, to get on board, so that people who really want to be here get to be here. And you need that time, you know.
Yeah, definitely pros and cons for what we went through the past year after launch. It's the only downside I would say that I brought up before is I really locked the fundamental principles of like holding, getting rewarded for holding instead of trading. But in the last year, holders, if you're under SAC right now, by definition, by just holding, you're not winning in that aspect.
No.
As of today, of course, in the future, 6 months from now could be different. But it's turned everyone to be like,
winning.
Huh?
If you're holding right now, you are winning. You just don't know it yet.
That's the idea. Yeah, the belief is, okay, I will win. The winning will happen, and I'm not out yet, and all that stuff too. But 95% of people are like, I don't feel like I'm winning right now. However,
But think of the flip side of people who are new, who are not in it yet, right?
That's the other part. The new people are getting rewarded more than the old people, and it's like that kind of.
But anyone coming right now is a genuine person who sees the vision. Like, who's buying it right now? Like, why wouldn't you go to Base or Solana where things are just pumping off right now? Green candles are going off daily, right? So if you're anybody who's waiting around who's like, I'm seeing something here, you really need to be here. This is where you're supposed to be. And the thing is, when they get to look at us now, we're under SAC. You're getting to buy lower than what I bought for already. So I can't dump on you. And that's actually a great, it's good and bad. It's bad for me, but it's great for people who can come in and they have no excuse. There's no excuse. So imagine 3 years from now, who knows where the price is going to be. And we can look back and say, hey, you had no excuse not to buy. You had no one that could dump on you. The price was down for a long time. You knew when the SEC case was coming to an end. So it actually is, it's I don't know. I think it's going to read really amazing in a few years when we look back. Of course, we can accumulate too down here too, and I'm getting my entry down lower, but yeah,
you can certainly make the case that in the future, if everything does turn out the way that we hope it turns out, it'll be like, man, that was one hell of a ride, and I'm so glad I was on it. That's what I want the history to write. And wow, Richard was
That's
so
how I
right.
get
We
glory.
just had to wait a longer time.
I honestly can't see how it's not. And maybe I'm maybe a bit too biased in a way, but just seeing the energy of the community and how people are just the degree of building for such an organic community. So, I mean, you look at Ethereum. Ethereum's only done so well. It has first mover advantage, but it's done so well because it's something that people built on. So it's attracted builders. So the price has gone ballistic. You look at BSB last cycle, it was all about the memes. BSB is like, no one's really talking about it now. Now that sort of shift has gone to Solana and a little bit of base chain as well, that whole like meme thing, but there's no sustainability there. People get sick and tired of that. That's why when I'm looking at PulseChain, we've got some of that too. And there's nothing wrong with the memes. I also enjoy dabbling in the memes myself, but there's actually so much more richness of building that's happening here that I see just this long-term sustainable future. I see a city that's being built out that's going to last. I don't see a city like the Tower of Babel that's going to collapse after a certain period of time because it's founded on just one or two things. This is actually something that I see that has longevity, and I just can't see how it's not going to succeed. Like all these things for me, it's just an when Richard comes out and defeats the SEC, because I mean, we all know that they're corrupt. His intentions have always been righteous. He's never, the way that he's portrayed is so disconnected from the type of person that he is that it just doesn't seem like fate that it's going to play out in that way, that he's going to go to jail or anything like this. I just don't see that future. He's actually a genuinely good person that's trying to make the world a better place. Those people in the long run end up getting rewarded. Maybe we have suppressed prices this whole bull run, and I'm willing to accept that. Maybe we have that. But in the long run, I just don't see how we can lose with everything that's happening in this ecosystem. I just don't see it.
I think we all want the good guys to win, right? Like I feel like that's a common thread between everyone. We want the people putting in the work, doing the good stuff, protecting, fighting for our rights and stuff. We want those people to win, and the other, scumbags to stop winning, that kind of thing. So I love it. And you got everyone on this panel too, and everyone in the chat who Richard either followed before and unfollowed or never followed. Okay, I guess I should exclude the chat. I'm going to say most people in the chat, pretty positive. Everyone on this panel, even more positive than I even assumed to make. And this is PulseChain community stream. Just want to put that out there. If you're listening to all the negativity on Twitter, otherwise, hopefully there's more streams that actually show people, give people a place to talk about things that are actually fun, exciting, and not just like a doomer mentality for this ecosystem, because there's so much good stuff to talk about. Like I feel like I'm a broken record sometimes. I can't just keep quoting all these bullish stats all the time, but it's like, someone to help me start quoting bullish stuff. Like I need help, HALP.
Max, if it helps, you just got to go pull up the market psychology chart of like the disbelief, euphoria, depression, and then disbelief, and just keep pointing to people. Be like, we're right here. We're about to go up. Yeah. Just chill out.
Yeah.
I always think of bamboo when I think of PulseChain. Bamboo, you water it for years and years and years and years and years. It does nothing. Then all of a sudden it shoots up and everyone's just like, what the hell? Where did all this bamboo come from?
I like the analogy of you planting. I don't know who said it. Somebody was popularizing it, I think, in the community too. But it was, you don't. There's two different ones. One is you don't buy a house and then try to flip it, a week later. And the other was you don't plant a seed and then just stare at it and then complain that it's not growing, like immediately. Exactly. That kind of thing. I thought those two things were pretty meaningful for crypto and stuff too. But wrap up in 2 minutes.
I'll add to that plant thing. So the other thing you do to help those plants grow is you talk nice to it. You sing its songs. You give it sunlight. If you're sit there like complaining on Twitter and like doing all, it's like that's not helping anything grow. So I think that if you're one of those people that is being negative about it, you're really only hurting yourself. So
wait, you don't yell at the
frown
plants?
to a smile. Surprisingly enough,
been doing it wrong this entire time, and no wonder nothing grows around here. Shit. I need the meme of someone yelling at a plant now, and it's like PulseChain.com. don't do that. X.
You show the two plants, the one that was yelled at to go buy Hex, and the one that was not.
That'd be a great meme, actually. I like that. Yeah, somebody make that. If you make it, please tag me on Twitter and show me about that. Okay.
On that, just very quickly, sorry, Crypto Czar. On that point, I like it's also comes down to us, and also even us who are trying to put positivity in the ecosystem as well. We still have a tendency to focus on the negativity, and I'm exactly the same. It's like, oh, all this toxicity, and I always keep referencing it, but I'm getting to a point now where it's like I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm literally just going to start talking about the positive things, and I'm not even going to think about it, because even thinking about it just brings more of that energy to the ecosystem. It's like I'm shutting it off. I'm putting it aside because I think everyone's sick and tired of it. Now I'm just focusing on the positive, and only focusing on the positive. And that's what I'm trying to put my channel towards as well, because I think the positive energy will eventually outweigh the negative, because it's there. It's just not being spoken about and brought to the forefront enough.
It reminds me.
That's awesome.
I mean, just in general, the quote of like, what you put out is like what you get back in the world type of thing. Like even at a basic level like that, just you don't even have to be, go even beyond that to just be like, yeah, that just kind of makes sense in a way. Got a couple questions. I got to wrap up in just in a few minutes, but I want to cover this poll, get your all's thoughts in a moment. I'm going to take 2 questions. I think I've already queued them up, but one from Jamie X. That was the first one in the chat. Thoughts about gift tech on 2fucks or Solid X? Anyone have thoughts on that?
Thoughts on gift tech?
Any giffers here? Any gearheads?
I've got give it a try. Sure, why not? Probably 2fucks is going to be easier because Fast Abdul is hungry to build. Solid X, I think that's the fire whale, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, you could do that too. I just don't know if he's as active as Fast Abdul. It's hard to beat that guy. So yeah, both possibly coming soon. I know Fast Abdul was in the chat earlier saying for somebody to give him a shout, and I'm pretty sure he even said, why not both?
Nice. Did you say something, Coexistence? Can I call you Steven? Coexistence? What should I call you?
Call me Steven. Steven is fine. I keep trying to encourage people to call me Steven, but they keep calling me Coexistence, and it's
CS.
weird, but...
Yeah. Every time someone calls me RHMax, I'm like, you can just say Max. Just call me Max. Fine. Yeah.
What's interesting for you, because RHMax, it goes hand in hand. So it's like, but your actual name is Max.
It's because the channel's called that, and then I imagine people say my name in conversation. Nobody knows who Max is, but they say RHMax, they know who I am. It's like it's exactly. I know it's like a hard thing to even. Does it even need to change? Like, yeah, I get it.
I have GIF personally. I've only just started dipping my toes into it though. I've heard about. I mean, I see 2fucks all the time because I see Fast Abdul everywhere and Solid X. But GIF, I'm very, very intrigued by it from the little that I've learned from your stream or Crypto Elliot. I follow Crypto Elliot. We follow each other. He's told me a lot about it. He's a big educator on that. So I'm actually very intrigued with what's going on with GIF, and I'm definitely keen to learn more. But for me, it's really just like there's only so many hours in a day that I can learn these things, and there's so many things that are happening. But I'm just very intrigued. I don't see. Again, I'm just so ridiculously optimistic. Maybe I'm being naive, but how can you? If you're just holding the core tokens and you're down, I think yes, it's impossible not to feel negatively. But if you're not focused on that and your knowledge is exploring the channel, the ecosystem, the blockchain, how can you possibly be feeling negativity? That's how I feel. It's just there's so many things that are happening.
Yeah.
I'll see the other question, but I just say diehard. The chat's been cracking me up too. Medium hands are almost out. Please, not all medium hands out, and then what was it? Titanium out. Titanium hands are out around Christmas. No,
Hart, man.
The out. We've had 50 weeks. We've had 52 weeks. We're at 55 plus now. No. What was the other one? Man, sorry, I missed the other question. That was another question.
There's a lot to learn. I mean, Steven, you're right. There's just too much to learn, and you don't have time to be waiting for a pump at this point. You got to be building and seeing what's going on, because when things really start to take off, imagine when the Hart man comes out and he starts talking again, how crazy things are going to get, and you're going to be caught off guard if you haven't been learning what's actually being built, what's actually going on in the engine. Waiting for someone to pump your bags is not a healthy place to be, especially with such an amazing ecosystem that's being built right in front of our eyes. And it's mysterious. People can say like, oh, there's conspiracy theories about PDI and Atropa and this and that. And that's okay. Well, at least take time and try to learn about it. See what's going on. What's everybody talking about? What's going on down there? Because what is happening down there takes a tremendous amount of effort. It's not just some random, you know, some people have said conspiracy theories or some weird, you know, things. There's really intention happening down there, some serious intention that takes a tremendous amount of thought and effort that's going on underneath PulseChain. And, you know, use this time, dig in, learn about all this stuff, all these projects, because when things get crazy, your emotions are going to get crazy, especially with how long we've been waiting. So you got to be ready for that. You know, your head's is gonna fool you. You're gonna get lost.
And I would encourage everyone to go check out your video on the Atropa ecosystem and the Wall Street St. Wolf. I think that was brilliant. The analogy there was brilliant. I think.
Thank you.
That's why it's like that's one of the most fascinating things about this whole blockchain is that system. For me, it's like that's what's so hard to like explore so many other things. Each new thing that I'm learning about, it's like holy crap, I want to.
Yeah.
There's this whole nother layer that I haven't even considered, that I don't even know about, and I just. It's like I see it being this benefit for the whole ecosystem. And if people really just start to understand that they can just plug into this web, and this web just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And by the virtue of the deepness of it, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's one of the things that I want to start to explore on my channel. Like, you know, it's a bit almost unfashionable to be launching coins at the moment, but I want to do something where I'm exploring what does it actually mean to launch a coin and plug into this system and utilize that system that's actually already been built. I don't need to like invent anything. I just need to like plug into it and utilize it, and it strengthens it, and it strengthens all of PulseChain.
That's right. Yeah. We just
speaking of building,
show up, plug in.
Speaking of building, last question before we wrap up, guys. Who will be the first to build on PulseX Inc? By the way, if someone has built on it, let me know. I've not heard of a project. I don't know all the projects, obviously. I don't keep up with everything. But assuming no one has like built anything that's become at least really popular at this point, what do you guys think? Richard's devs, you got the permeable gift stuff that could burn, buy and burn the permeable token and then burn the ink. There's ink community wells. Maybe they start, somebody comes up with a project. Hey, I'm a holder. I'm going to do this thing or something else. What do you guys think?
I believe there actually is a project that has built on it. It's called Mike. It was a meme token that was designed to reward holders with incentive token. I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for on this one.
That was the second one.
That was like a reward token.
Yeah, Sonny the detective made Ink R, which was the first version of that, and then Mike was the second one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to click other because there is more information.
There's Ink X as well.
Okay.
By Paul Slorian also. So I think, but these are rewarder. I think, are you referring when they say the first to build? I think they're meaning something more, right? Or are they just talking about?
Oh, it's mine. So I can tell you first person. It is building as in, building a token that basically anything that pumps ink, anything meant to be, valuable for ink holders. I would define building as that. Okay, maybe there are some projects.
Yeah, there's a few, yeah.
Okay. Well, if you go by that definition, honestly, it's so many different projects out there that could be classified as that, because theoretically anything that you put through PulseX is going to help incentive token to some degree, just based on the routing that the exchange does if it tries to go internal, whether you're on the V1 or the V2 pools. On top of that, like there's tons of other people that are either trying to emulate something similar to, I guess you could call it healthy market competition, whether it's any of the different dexes out there like 9inch or oh gosh, I'm gonna draw a blank on this one. Pateas, 9mil. There's a bunch of them. So healthy competition could help make PulseX better, which makes incentive token better. But honestly, just like holding incentive token is going to be one of the best things you can do if you haven't already been farming it on V1, because you got to remember that incentive. I got to find my data on this one. Incite my sources, but I'm pretty confident that incentive token has a halvening structure that happens every year, which is that the rewards you're going to get for incentive token go down very, very quickly over the years if you're farming it. So it really rewards people that hold it early and continue to hold it.
When is the next halving for that?
Shoot, I mean, we just crossed the 1 year mark, so it's going to be another year from now, I think.
So we just have
it. Now the comments are going to be, no, that doesn't exist. There is no happening. Like there's like a faction of people who don't believe there is one, and then there is, and then I feel like I've cited sources from like two legitimate people everywhere who disagree on this. So I think there is a de-escalating inflation model. I think even Richard tweeted about this recently. He tweeted about decreasing inflation model. So at least there's that. which maybe people are saying is kind of like a halvening the inflation model. You think that's what it is?
There's surprises coming for sure. There's really big surprises coming. The amount of volume that PulseChain can handle is tremendous. And when it comes, it's going to come for who knows what structures are going to pop up suddenly out of the blue when, you know, when the Hart man gets to work. But I think there's some really amazing surprises coming. And yeah, Inc. might have some major part to play in that. Decreasing inflation, very high percent of supply.
And what also makes me think of that is, I know it's like this rabbit hole that just never gets solved.
I could have sworn I've seen the documents and the charts before. I just can't find it now.
This is the same. I've seen it.
You better always have it ready.
I want to see it.
I know. And then there's so Dipcatcher or Maximus guys wrote a inflation thing from it, which I thought I had it on this list of supposed to be everything. Come on, Max. It's supposed to be every single thing. Oh, here, no. Yeah, here it is. So PulseX Inc. Supply. Yeah. So it might take a second to load. But I think it does. I think it basically speaks to the decreasing inflation model. I think that's what it is. And I think the halvening is tied into that. And that's maybe what it is. Anyone in the chat have any ideas as well? Let me know. But there's all kinds of people disagree about this.
If it's connected to the Bitcoin cycle, is that what you're...
No, it's got its own built-in thing, which I mean, this should be in the code.
It's not that it's connected to the Bitcoin cycle. It's that it's a similar model, which is that the rewards get halved every time, so that you kind of you get this like logarithmic, or I guess inverse curve about how it's going to drop off very quickly, but then it's going to start dropping off slower and slower every year.
Right.
So it's the difference between going from like 100 to 50 to 25 to 12 and a half. It's the time frame's different. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that one.
Not loading right now otherwise, but yeah, I dropped the link in the chat. Anybody wants to check it out.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere to that point that it halves like every year after maybe 2 years or something like that. I can't remember, but it's something like
I don't know.
Okay, let's ask chat, help us out.
They've had a minute.
What do we
Nobody say anything good.
Chris A is saying he remembers Richard Hart saying that on the YouTube channel. There was a hinting at Hex from same one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It will be the question continued to be unanswered and unavailable information. That would be nice if there was like just some Wikipedia thing, but then it'll be too late. Then the price will be too high when you know everything, right? There you go.
Everyone should be learning how to do provide liquidity right now. That's and Stephen has a lot of videos going in depth on how to do that and where to do that, and that's something you guys shouldn't be waiting around. Definitely be doing that for sure. The inflation of ink isn't technically, it's the max supply keeps growing.
Yeah, own the system.
He does have admin keys on ink to change inflation. Paul Sachs, where'd you get that information? Can we verify that?
Yeah, I actually have tried to look at the contract and the code to find some of the stuff before, and it's really hard to find. So I wonder if some of it is actually, because to add pools and stuff on PulseX, there's gotta be some degree of admin keys to like add pools, remove them and stuff. So I wonder if there is something that can be changed on that. Maybe that was why I couldn't find it in the contract before. Interesting.
If you had a way to track total market supply over time, you theoretically could try to derive something out of it, but you'd have to have that data to start with.
I think this is what I was thinking too. The effective APY each acts like a halvening. I think that's what I remember coming to a conclusion of, like, that's probably it. But again, I don't know.
Apologies, gang. I put us on this rabbit hole. My bad.
Terrible. Well, you can start to take us out on a rabbit hole as well. We can dig ourselves out. Starting with Zenith. What's final words? Final words. What would you like to say? Take us out on.
Hey, this is a fantastic panel. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the best community in the space. And on any given Tuesday, you could probably find 5 fantastic people to hop on a stream and cut it up and wonder about whether or not incentive token inflation is actually real or not. But other than that, I got to say, like, for everybody out there, keep your eyes peeled. This is actually a very important week. One thing I didn't mention is that we have some macroeconomic news events going on this week. So we have CPI numbers coming out on the 12th, and we have Federal Reserve rate meeting finishing on the 12th. We just had a jobs report as well, which kind of came in a little below expectations. So be wary. There might be choppy waters ahead or big movements coming on. Outside of that, though, like I said, fantastic panel, gentlemen. Everyone can catch me over at the DGen Roundtable where I primarily stream. We'd be happy to host you guys or host a panel over there anytime with y'all. You're all studs. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter at ZenithDI, and that is what I got. Crypto Czar, what about you, my man? Tell us about the Icarus token. Where can the people find you and find that?
Yeah, so again, just wanted to echo those sentiments. Great panel, great people. Looking forward to diving deeper into a lot of what you guys are putting out and learning more about you. So I'm glad I could be a part of the panel. In terms of Icarus, we've got great community. I'd say come and join our Telegram. It's call it Icaria, like the ecosystem of Icarus and Wings. So jump on over. Let me find that. It's Icarus PRC 20 at Icarus PRC 20 is our link to our Instagram. Same with Twitter. Same with the Telegram. So I will say the one thing that I think I love about what we've been talking about and the PulseChain community is that we're all a bunch of dreamers, and that's the foundation in which Icarus was founded. We're a coin by dreamers and for dreamers, and to get inspired a little bit, if you go to our website icaruscoin.io, scroll down to the bottom, you'll be able to listen to a song called Icarus. It's what inspired the coin, and it's all about being a dreamer like Icarus. And it was a song written by my father, who died 2 months before the PulseChain launched. So he was the original sacrificer, and then unfortunately passed away just before it launched. So I feel every time we're get a new holder of Icarus and do all kinds of things that we're doing within our community, I feel that his dream that he instilled in me as a kid, of just reaching for what seems out of reach, you can achieve anything, and I think that is a very real thing on the PulseChain. So we should never stop dreaming and never stop getting the community together so we can all dream together and keep building something bigger. And I think, again, we kind of talked about it in the chat, but I'd like the idea of Richard Hart kind of stepping back and not following people, because it is almost giving it back to us and saying, guys, this is you guys now. Like it's bigger than just me. So I just keep dreaming and come and join us. We got that contest coming up where we're going to be giving away ink, believe it or not. So come on
building
over.
on ink. Wow.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of fun stuff happening in our community. So come and join us. We'd love to have you. Be an Icarian with us. So.
Oh, awesome. St. Wolf, where can people find you and your stuff, man?
Yeah, my channel, St. Wolf Crypto. I've been putting out content, and a lot of my focus is still Atropa and PDI, and understanding why it's probably two of the most important things on PulseChain under the hood. And take time, learn about it. Also, Steven has amazing videos. He's one of the first people that inspired me onto that stuff. And yeah, I've been in it since day one. It inspired me to make my channel and want to really get the word out. Yeah. So St. Wolf Crypto, that's where you find me.
Awesome, man. And Steven.
And thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, this has actually been really enjoyable. So thank you very much to all you fine gentlemen. And I guess I want to just leave a message for people who are feeling disheartened, because I'm watching the chat and I'm looking at it closely. And I've also felt like this in the past. And the things which actually helped shift my mind is learning. So if your mind is closed off to what's actually happening, you're only going to see the negativity. You're only going to see the price. But if you actually open your mind up and start learning about what's actually on this blockchain, I really challenge you to do that, because once you start doing that, I think it's going to be impossible for you to feel anything but optimism. So if you open your mind and expand out and just start learning and filling in the gaps in your understanding, you're going to love what's happening on PulseChain. It's an incredible chain. It's an incredible community. there's a lot of good things that are happening. And yeah, I'm always open to talk and share and learn. And even crypto Czar, I didn't know about Icarus, but what a beautiful story of how this actually came about. And I only wish everyone to succeed on PulseChain. I only wish everyone to win together. That's really what I'm all about. So that's the kind of things that I like to talk about, and that's the things that I like to cover. So thanks for having me on, Max. It was really nice to meet all of you. And yeah, thank you very much.
Of course. And what Steven's trying to say is, may you all have the maddest of gains. PulseChain.com as well. All right, everyone. Great community stream. Really fun one. I wish we had more time, but that's the end of the show today. Again, you've got all the information with these guys on socials and otherwise, and I'll try to put some links in the chat, or links in the description as well. But yeah, that's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.
Later.